On Instagram, he is at Kelvins_tutorial. He is a young man who runs his own business, CEO, Kelvin's Tutorial. He's a content writer. He's a model. His friends call him Onyoma Kelvin. His full name, Onoha Kelechi Ebenezer. So please say welcome to Kelechi Onoha. How are you doing, Kelechi?
Very awesome. Good evening, distinguished panel of judges, sports fans around the world. I can't wait to get you through.
I don't know why I had extinguished. Was it my ear?
Distinguished. Distinguished.
Okay. All right. So welcome to the battle. His opponent is a retail marketing, podcasting, and TikTok vlogger. He supports AC Milan globally, Rivers United locally. He stays somewhere at Aliyu Animasham Avenue in Lekki Phase 1. He's represented Tiosa local government. On Twitter, is I am D-May, same as Instagram at I am D-May. Everybody calls him by the nickname D-May. His full name, Nwagbogu Daniel Nkem. Hello, Daniel. How are you doing?
Hi, Femi. Good evening. Good evening to the judges. It's good to be here again. I'm enjoying myself already. Just sitting down here and seeing your beautiful faces.
Thank you. And welcome to the battle. My colleagues Chuma, Tony, and Alex, they have the task, the very, very difficult task of listening attentively to these battles and making an opinion as to who to send home and who to send to the quarterfinal. The winner of this battle will meet Prosper in the quarterfinal. Prosper having won battle 32. So, gentlemen, I think I'm done saying treat this as your last battle, because it may well be. If you disrespect this battle, it will be your last battle. So, let's go. Alex, thanks for the pen. You want it back? All right. Okay, guys. So, what is the issue at hand? We are going to try and pack this up. The rules change a little bit to your favor at this stage. It's 5 minutes of head-to-head, depending on how that goes. The likelihood that I would add to the head-to-head debate is very slim. Very slim. There's a greater likelihood that I could cut it short if we try everything to get to hear you and it doesn't work. But most importantly, I mean, if there is a need for it, I could add to it. But better still, I may take the liberty of giving you an extra minute in your closing argument, just so you can make your points clearer and then you can land as effectively as possible. I'll still give you the 1 minute for your opening remarks. Is that clear? And also, what has also changed is that instead of 7 callers to vote, it's 9. So it is best of 9 now. Whoever takes 5 votes wins the 20 points there. Everything else remains the same. All the best, gentlemen.
Thank you.
The topic for the battle is this: equal pay for men and women in football. Yes or no? Daniel says yes. Kelechi says no. However, remember, it's not that Daniel is saying yes as Daniel, as a person, or Kelvin is saying, or Kelechi is saying no as a person. We put it to a raffle draw and they picked what they picked. So they are defending what they have to defend, not necessarily what they believe. When you vote for either of them, bear this in mind and do not vote based on whether you agree or not that there should be equal pay for men and women in football. If one of them was a woman, that person could probably be defending the other way right now. So please respect that when you vote. Remember, look at who impresses you the most and ask yourself, who would I want to hear again on the battle? Who will I want to hear again in this battle? Always bear that in mind. All right, so let's go into the battle. Equal pay for men and women in football, yes or no? Kelechi, you picked no, and you are the first contestant.
sir.
I'm going to set the clock to 1 minute. Before that, we're streaming live on Facebook. That's Nigeria Info 99.3. We're streaming live on YouTube, the Nigeria Info YouTube channel. That's at Nigeria Info FM. You will find that on the official Twitter handle embedded there at Nigeria Info FM. You also get to vote on Twitter as you vote on Facebook. There's a different poll for you to vote next to the embedded YouTube live stream. We're also live streaming on the Nigeria Info mobile app, so you don't miss a single thing, and you can take us wherever you go. So I struggle to decide which name to call you. So let me stick to Kelechi. Kelechi, for 1 minute, open your arguments as to why you think it's a bad idea for there to be equal pay for men and women in sports. Are you ready to go?
Sure.
Your 1 minute starts right now.
I think the E here should be equity, not equal. Because when you talk about equity, we're talking about the quality of fairness to whatever an individual or someone is doing. Now, the question is, why do male athletes get paid more, or male footballers get paid more than female footballers? Now I'll give you my reasons. One, the male athletes of football federation generate more revenue, they sell more tickets, they also attract more interest. And if you look at it, if a maker is getting demand more than everyone who is in his shop range, and the supply he's giving for that demand is quality, it is okay for a maker to be chalking out or putting out more net worth at the end of the year. So you cannot say that female athletes or footballers should earn more when they have not done the necessary job to earn that.
All right. So your opening remarks are noted. Your position is no, and you will have time to expand on that as we go. We'll switch now to Daniel, whose position is yes. That is equal pay for men and women in football. I had said sports before, but that was football, specifically football. And I think Kelechi made sure that he talked about football. So, Daniel, for 1 minute, you can open your argument. Starts now.
Okay, thank you. Equal pay has largely disproved. Sorry, I come again. Equal pay has largely been disproved because of revenue generation. Before getting into revenue argument, it is worth considering whether revenue should matter at all. Both FAs and football are non-profit organizations with stated missions to grow football in countries and globally respectively. Whether their benchmark of success are not profit. Rather, the aim to get more people playing football, watching and caring about the sport. This is the opposite of chasing short-term profits. The question is whether non-profit organizations such as FIFA and all the FAs should ignore the mission of growing women football because it doesn't have any robust foundation in men's football. By the way, FIFA has a cash reserve of $2.8 billion. Thank you.
All right, so opening sequence full of nerves, quite understandably so, early on both parts. I'm sure there will be opportunities for both gentlemen to grow back into this debate as we open the head-to-head for 5 minutes. Kelechi, Daniel, are you ready for the head-to-head?
Yeah.
I'm setting your clock to 5 minutes, and then you can finish your argument. We'll probably take a break before your closing argument. But the head-to-head, ready? All right. Your clock is set. The timer for 5 minutes. Let's go.
Daniel, you said money generation is not important. I mean, you're in the studio. Without money, you will not be here. So every activity, and you're talking about talent here. With footballers are talented, and you
Are
need
you saying the
this-
female footballers
this-
are not talented?
No, and that's not my point. I'm
Okay.
saying that if you have to earn a living, you have to use your talent
Okay,
to
can
get
I-
money.
Do you know that?
this-
Hold on. Do you know that FIFA is a non-profit organization?
Listen.
Do you know? No.
Do they make
Do you
profit?
know?
Okay.
Do you
if
know
it's
that
a non-profit organization?
Yes.
Do they make profit?
And in
Why
their
do they
mission
make this
statement,
profit?
hold
This
on.
profit
In their mission
are to
statement,
make
it
the
is
sport
caring.
better. This profit
It is
are to
caring.
make sure
It is
that they
keeping
provide
equality.
structures so that these
Hold on.
athletes can earn and feed their families. This
No, see.
profit you are setting aside.
You are talking about.
is the
You,
reason
you might be talking.
why
Hold on.
You can watch
You
Premiership and
you are
enjoy
talking.
the coverage.
You are talking
This
about. You are
profit
talking
that
about.
you are setting
you're not-
aside is why you will look at a football
You are
game
talking
and
about
appreciate
the
it.
clubs.
Gentlemen would appreciate it
You're
if
talk-
you let each other be heard.
You are talking about the clubs. I am talking about the game as itself being bodied. Hold on, being governed
Daniel,
by
it's not about
FIFA.
hold on.
FIFA
Listen,
is the
listen,
body that
Daniel.
guides the football. If FIFA does
Profit
not
is
put
meant-
in place
this
what
money
is written
generation
in their
is what
mission
makes
statement
this football
and in their
more
vision,
appreciable to watch.
do you know that?
This
Okay,
profit generation
Yes, you
is
said profit generation.
what makes a player happy because he has fed his family
Oh.
when it comes to entertaining
yes,
the
he
watcher.
fed his family.
Now
he
listen,
fed
this-
everybody.
This profit
Do you know
generation
that? Do you know that
is
in the female
why-
football,
is why
the
is
marketing
why
in
this
female
sport
football is
very
poor.
attractive. Now,
The
you can-
sponsorship in
it's
female
not-
football is
it's
poor.
not in-
Do you know that Barcelona
listen,
versus
it's not- no.
Wolfsburg clocked 91,000 fans in the Bernabeu?
and men came to watch more than women.
It doesn't matter.
No, it matters
You are talking
because
about
you are
fans.
talking
You are
about-
talking about
you are
fans.
talking
You can't
about,
talk about men and women when it comes to fans
female.
because even the male
Any-
football, men and women come and watch the game.
How will you have?
How will you
a
talk
female
about
game
men?
And you are having men coming.
I did, no. You can't say that.
You are shooting yourself in the foot.
when
Daniel, listen.
when
Daniel,
you talk
listen.
about fans, you talk
Now,
about everybody.
if
You don't
you're
talk
talking
about
about-
Gentlemen,
You
we
even-
would like to hear you.
Now, Daniel, listen.
if you talk
If
about
you're
fans, you talk
talking
about
about-
both the
Daniel,
children
listen, you've
also.
spoken. Now,
Let me
listen.
tell you that
Now-
the disparity between
the females
payment is too much.
don't
Sam
have not
Kerr
even
Sam
grown
Kerr
the
is
interest
paid
to watch
300.
this football, and you're expecting them to generate more.
Sam Kerr
This
is
is
the
not
highest
possible.
paid player in the football,
Now-
in the female football. She's paid 300k per annum. Lukaku, who came to Chelsea, Sam Kerr also plays in Chelsea, and he earns 300k per week.
Now,
and you will compare.
You are
because
comparing
both-
Sam Kerr.
So-
Sam Kerr, what
both-
club does she play for?
She played for Chelsea.
She plays for Chelsea.
Yes, and
Now-
I'm going to tell
now,
you that
is she-
if marketing, hold on,
in Chelsea.
hold on,
Is she
if
the only
marketing,
one? Daniel, answer the
if
question.
marketing,
Is
if
Sam
marketing,
Kerr is the only, is she the only
if
one paid in
marketing,
Chelsea? Now listen.
okay, if the
listen.
World Cup wants to
Now,
start,
you
you and I know how the whole country
Talking about
and
World
everybody
Cup.
is talking about
the,
it.
the female,
The-
the FIFA
See,
male
the
World Cup
foundation,
generated
the foundation,
billion.
the foundation
dollars.
is FIFA.
The female football
UEFA
generated
is under
only
FIFA.
131
Gentlemen, you are not helping yourselves by not allowing each other to make a point.
Now you just spoke about the World Cup,
Yes,
right?
yes,
Now
go
I've explained myself that money generation is important. You can't even deny it. You are in this
One,
awesome
two,
studio
three,
because
four,
We'll take a
five.
break. We'll be back.
Oh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now time to take reward you for Coco Bima Energy Drink and Win promo. Just carry 6 empty sachets of Coco Bima Energy Drink. Go submit for the closest redemption center where they near your domoto, and you go win prize instanta. Cross go day every week, and the grand draw go be for month end. Promo na till 30th July, yo. Terms and conditions dey o. You don't wait for life. You go to meet life. Morning after morning, cup after cup, with the stimulating aroma and rich creamy taste of Nescafe Original 3-in-1. Available at 17 naira per sachet, and for every 8 sachets you buy this month, you get 1 sachet absolutely free. Start strong, finish strong. It all starts with a Nescafe. T's and C's apply.
We bring fun, good vibes. We even go through the nooks and come out through the crannies. We have very serious conversations. Oh, yes, we do. And that's what makes us ask you, what's up, niggas? from 10 a.m. to 12 noon on 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
I find the strength I need every time that I look into your eyes. And when the night comes, you hold me in your arms and you say, I'll never let you go, my sweet baby. You'll never let me down. No matter what I do, you love me unconditionally. You show up for me every day, no matter when I show you.
A mother's love is unconditional. Nothing serves this love better than a bowl of Indomie. So, show some love with Indomie.
You could be 4 debates away from 1 million naira.
Good day, honorable judges, our ever attentive audience.
That's the majority of co-debater.
We've crowned 3 I Beg to Differ debate champions.
My name is Tanvita Kaushik.
I'm Ruto Kocho. My name is Bawadiesa.
And if you want to be the 4th,
In fact, it even gives you a new global perspective.
the quest
Since 1998,
begins
during the 2015 election,
now. The auditions for the next I Beg to Differ debate tournament are on. It's open to all secondary school students in Lagos aged between 12 and 16. Just go to www.nigeriainfo.fm and click on I Beg to Differ and follow the instructions. Auditions close 3 p.m. July 12th, 2022.
99.3 Nigeria Info.
Your number one station for talk. Let's talk.
John Judy Gallo, AFCON 2019 top scorer. Keep listening, Femi and the gang on 99.3 Nigeria Info. God bless you.
Hello there, this is Neka, and you are on Football Frenzy on 99.3 Nigeria Info with Femi and the gang.
Welcome back. Just before that break, Kelechi and Daniel were going head to head. About a minute of the head to head time was cut off. I have no intention of restoring it because I don't think we're going to get much from the head to head between the two of you. I don't think either of you has done themselves any good with the head to head because I struggled to hear you, and I usually I listen not merely with the mind to judge, but with the mind to at least enjoy the conversation, and I didn't quite get that. So what I'll do at this point, like I told you earlier on, the chances of me reducing your time is higher than me adding to it, and I think you have thoroughly deserved a reduced time here because both of you decided not to let the other talk. It was a strategy. I think one of you was more guilty than the other. However, I don't want to cast blames. You are both guilty of it anyway. So what I will do is I will give you your 2 minutes to take your time and land your points without interruptions. And that will be it. Do we have a deal? Kelechi, are we good?
Very awesome.
Daniel, are we good?
We're good.
Good. Or you prefer I give you more time
One
to
more.
do?
One more minute.
No, it's not going to happen. Yeah. So, it's your 2 minutes. That's all you'll get. Okay?
That's fine.
All right. So, the clock is set for you, Kelechi. You are contestant 1 for battle 33. And your time starts right now.
Now, Daniel said money generation is not important. Ask Daniel here, how do these clubs pay these players? How do these countries they play for pay these players if they don't generate money or profit? Now, I asked Daniel again, how do female players want to earn equal pay. If money generation is not important, ask Daniel again. You spoke about Sam Kerr. There are other Chelsea players who earn less than she is. Why? Because they are not up to standard. And that is why I'm telling you, Samuel, Daniel, that male players are supposed to earn more. Daniel, I put it to you again. How do FIFA make the money that you quoted, 2 billion in reserve? How did they make it? Revenue. Now, I end with this. How do you expect the male and the female footballers to earn the same when, one, they don't even have the same abilities except transgenders? That's fine. Now, two, they don't even generate the same income. They don't even attract the same sponsorship. We know about Mbappe. They don't even have the same game time. The average soccer male player has almost 58 games in a season, 52 games in a season, 38 games from the league, and 52 in general. The average female player only plays 22 league games and probably 1 or 2, 3 months club football. How can you say in fairness that they should earn the same? Now, the FIFA World Cup earned FIFA 6 billion in revenue. The Female World Cup earned 131 million. Only Italian league earns more than the Female World Cup. What are you saying? You quoted the Barcelona game, where even this AFCON we're watching now, we have more males coming to watch the games than females. I think instead of females asking for more pay, they should actually work on better structure and adverts for themselves. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. At least we're willing to chant you and clap you to the very end. Your case is done. Your battle has been closed. Daniel has 2 minutes to close out his own argument, after which it will be time for the panel and, of course, the audience to make up their mind. You just had Kelechi. Daniel, for 2 minutes, close out your argument.
Thank you, Femi. Football, as we know now, has now become more business than entertainment, or as the case may be. As I start in my opening before, I repeat, football and FIFA, the governing body, they are not a profit organization company. They are not liability. They are not PLC. They are not there to generate revenue. It's like a body just to entertain. Their mission and vision is to care about football, grow football to be played by both male and female, regardless. Like he ended with his final remark that fans come to the stadium, male and female. They don't differentiate between fans. The amount of attention given to male football has made male football generate revenue. If you ask Kelechi, without revenue, now, what other thing can you say would warrant the male team the female team to be paid equally, or the male team should be paid higher? You cannot answer, because the governing body was set aside to officiate both male and female equally. That is in their mission statement. Now, the solution to this is to do exactly what they do for male football. You want to give them equal money, do exactly, put the same energy. We saw what Arsenal did with their female team last season, and they came second. Where did their male team end? 5th on the table. They spent more money and more time and more revenue. In fact, everything they had, they spent on adverts and sponsorship on the female team, and they did very well. And people come and see the game. Like I said, Barcelona had 91,000 plus fans in a Champions League game. The El Clasico of the female team also had 90,000 plus fans. Now, as US has done it, New Zealand has done it, Australia has done it, Netherlands has done it. If these countries can do it by giving equal pay to their female and male team, why can't everybody do it?
Well, thank you very much. So the battle is complete between Kelechi and Daniel It is time for decisions to be made. Who of these two individuals was more impressive on the night? Like I had said after the opening remarks, I had seen evidence of nerves, uncharacteristically for these young men. But again, I guess it's the tension of the knockout rounds. They grew into it as it went on. We'll take it from here. Who impressed you more? Who would you like to hear again? That's what should be at the back of your mind when you vote. Okay? We're streaming live on Facebook, Nigeria Info 99.3. You get to vote there. You see the voting portal right there on the live screen, just below the topic of battle. You see it there. You see both names, Kelechi and Daniel. If you click on either of those names, you voted for that person. Also on Twitter, there is a poll that has their names. Who impressed you more is the question we are asking you. Is it Kelechi or Daniel? Go ahead and vote for either one. Remember, it was Kelechi who spoke first. Daniel spoke second. And we followed that sequence to the very end. Our live stream on YouTube is also on our official Twitter handle. You can follow the link to view the live stream. Just in case you are not watching the live stream on Facebook, you can go see the live stream on YouTube. Following the link you'll find embedded on our official Twitter handle. We are also live streaming on the official Nigeria Info mobile app. You cannot miss any action, and you can take us wherever you go. That done, let us go into the decision for Battle 33 of Fan Battle 3. The winner here will face Prosper, the winner of Battle 32. The loser here will exit alongside Molat on this night of battle. If that is done, let us proceed. Just before we go into that, the numbers are 0700 993 993, 0700 993 993 993. Is that clear? That's the general line. For our ladies only, the line is 01 465 7190. 01 465 7190. So for 20 percentage points, let's go to the maximum of 9 individuals via phone vote.
Hello.
Hello, how are you doing?
Um.
Oh, come on. Please do try and call us back, okay? We're going for a maximum of 9.
Good evening, Mr. Femi.
Hello, how are you doing?
This is John Kute from Ojo.
Welcome, John.
This battle is very tough, but I am going with Daniel this night because I would like to hear him again.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you very much. Hi there. Good evening and welcome.
Hello.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm fine. Good evening.
Good evening to you.
Yeah, good evening, sir. This is Ruth.
Welcome, Ruth. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Ikorodu.
Okay, so you had Kelechi, you had Daniel. Who edged it for you? Who won it?
Daniel did. He really impressed me. It was really good.
Okay, so Daniel takes your vote. Thank you very much for calling. Let's go to a third caller. Hi there.
Hello, good evening, Nigeria Info.
Yes, you found Nigeria Info. Talk to me.
Yeah, my name is Joel. I'm calling from Yaba.
Okay, so good to hear you. Kelechi, Daniel, who is it for you?
It's for Daniel. His closing argument really gave it all. There was much clarity there, so I give it to Daniel. Impressed me, really.
Okay, so Daniel takes your vote. Thank you. Daniel leads by 3. Let's go further. Hi there. Good evening and welcome.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go for Daniel because Kelechi should have much more points to use to defeat Daniel, but I think he didn't justify all the points as regards to that. But I think Daniel said everything that is already in my mind. So, Daniel for me.
All right. Thank you very much. So Daniel takes it, and that's 4 votes to Daniel, none yet to Kelechi. This next vote could be consequential. Hi there. Nobody there yet? Okay. Hello, how are you doing?
Hello.
Good evening. Yeah, I can't hear you. You have to move away or turn off whatever monitoring device you're using. Oh, no, it's not working. Okay. Hi there. Good evening. Hello, who's there? All right, we'll move on. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
You found Nigeria Info. Let's hear
This is
it.
Organetega calling from Ajangbadi.
Welcome, Ogenetega.
I'm going with Daniel this time because the way Daniel portrayed his point during the closing remark was okay with me.
So, excellent. Thank you very much. We'll leave the phone votes. We have 5, and all 5 went Daniel's way. Not There are still 4 callers we could have taken, but it won't alter the result. So we would leave it as that. And Daniel takes the votes available to the phone callers. That's 20 percentage points. There are 80 more points to fight for. 60 of those are here with the panelists and the judges, who are the professionals who know what we are looking for and who will vote based on the qualities that we are seeking. Tony, Chuma, Alex. Gentlemen, it's time to do this. And there's still time for you guys to vote via Twitter and Facebook. Feel free to go there and vote as we go. Who wants to go first this time? I think Chuma went first before.
Well,
should I go first?
I don't know.
Okay, let me go first. This one there. What up, as Gary? Good battle. All right, good battle.
Was it really good?
Yeah, you know, on the balance,
it would have been
quite
better though.
Yeah, you know, quite some gray areas, but on the balance, individually,
quite a sensitive topic too.
Yeah, you know, I was going to come to, you know, that this is perhaps one of the most debated talking points in the last 3 years. Maybe earlier, but I mean, the last 3 years, women football is beginning to grow in leaps and bounds, and I mean, there are lots of individual stakeholders championing this cause. So, I mean, I must say kudos to the team for bringing this talking point. I was really looking forward to it because I needed to see how, you know, whoever gets the other side of the divide, which is the women, will approach, you know, this battle. And well, maybe I should start from, you know, Kelechi. I think he did what he should do. I mean, said the things he should say, but I don't think he did enough, given the fact that he had a flurry of points to harvest for. He said the things we would expect to hear. You know, the issues of, you know, more revenue, ticketing, you know, the Emeka analogy, you know, and all of that was also good, you know. But what Daniel did, you know, which I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. He talked about the fact that, you know, FIFA's statement does not particularly, you know, thrive for income or profit making. And I talked about I mean, FIFA as a non-profit organization, which of course it is basically it. But in that statement, it says develop the game, touch the world, and build a better future. Now, what Daniel did was to tell us, hey, if it's a non-profit organization, you know, there shouldn't be emphasis on who makes how much, all right, and everybody should be treated fairly, because its major goal, all right, is to touch lives. Now, you look at it, because beyond judging and all of that, it's important that we look at this and try to educate. That statement, develop the game, can mean so many things. And it can mean, development of infrastructure. It can mean income generation. It can mean, branding. It can mean so many things, So when you come from the point of, it's a non-profit organization, and then it shouldn't, they shouldn't be particular about how much they make. It's contradicting in a way. All right. But I think for me, for the sake of this argument, the angle that you came from, I'm trying to see the brilliance in it. All right. It's a very delicate angle, but if you go deeper, you would understand that though it's a non-profit organization, however, its goal to develop the game goes beyond, it's all encompassing, because hey, the amount of money, income generation, is what keeps the game revolving, and it keeps the game evolving over the years. And we see new development, we see VAR coming in, we see a lot of tech coming in, because there is money in the system and the money is increasing. And as this income coming, as this revenue coming, there are plans to improve the sport. So that is something for you beyond this argument, all right, that you should take home and go look at it separately. But I like the fact that you came from the angle that you came. I love the fact that you listed some countries who are already they've really taken that, and they've implemented it, equal pay for both men and women and all of that. I like the fact that Kelechi brought the talking point of equity, but unfortunately he didn't dig deep into that, which was an attempt to say, listen, equality cannot be achieved, but equity can be achieved, where the gap, all right, closes up a bit and is more decent, because currently there's a gulf in the gap between men and women football, all right, in the pay and almost in everything. But Kelechi, you didn't do enough with that word equity. I needed you to have, I wasn't convinced, all right. What you did was the basics. You didn't do anything extra, especially given the fact that you were coming from a perspective where you had, the leeway to do and undo. Because at the moment, the reality of the sport is that men are better paid than women. And the reasons are obvious. You were also, the rebuttal was all over the place. I was struggling to really get what you guys were saying. Daniel struggled for clarity a bit. I didn't like the fact that you were reading from something. But I probably understand that you wanted to get your thoughts very clear. One of the qualities of a good battler is you own it. You own the conversation, and you understand it, and then you say it in your own words. When you were reading that stuff, it felt like it didn't feel to me like you were battling anymore.
And he was actually struggling through what he was reading.
What he was.
By the way, and this goes not just to him, but all the other contestants. We had this conversation earlier on, where we say while the rules do not say do not write your intro and outro. We did say that in the knockout stages, we'll probably, we want you to, again, one of the first things you do when you come in and you are reading, you first put off the judges again, and you have to then walk double, or your opponent has to implode spectacularly to win, because it's just normal that the judges will just be like, okay, is this a recital? It's a battle. It's a conversation. But I also noticed that after that intro, again, there's no way you can read during the head-to-head. And I was expecting him to go back to reading in the conclusion. He didn't, which was okay to his credit. But again, for me, that would have taken a few points away from.
That's for you. For you. But there was a need to touch on that. He grew as the battle progressed, and he was able to achieve that point he was trying to drive and all of that. But I mean, there's so much we can say, for this, but just go straight to the point and
Okay.
make my verdict. I don't know. But for tonight, Femi, I think that the attempt to want to break through a brick wall for a battler is important for me. It's like an X factor to make meaning out of perhaps what not so many people can think of. Even though there was a bit of lacking sufficiency. But for tonight, I remember the last battle where I featured, I think Daniel was on it, and he lost that battle. That was before the playoffs.
Yeah.
And I remember some words that I said to him as regards improving. He led the conversation, shockingly, in this battle. And I think for that, I would go his way. Now, for the sake of the battle, in terms of meaning, there's still some issues I've got with the thought pattern.
Yeah.
And we will talk about that much later in subsequent broadcasts and all of that. The fact that FIFA is a non-profit does not mean that they are not, encouraging clubs or teams to make profit. As a body, that's what they are. And what they do is just guide the sport. But the goal is to develop the game. And to develop the game, income takes a center stage in all of that. For tonight, for the battle, Daniel gets it.
And that's why football is played based on sponsorships, the revenue at the games and all of that. All right, guys. So, Daniel takes Tony's vote, doubling his lead. He goes to 40 percentage points, but there are still 60 points to fight for. 40 of those are still on this panel. We'll take a break before we go into those other votes. Social media is key, and the vote is still on. If you haven't voted yet, this is a good time to go and vote. Again, on Facebook, Nigeria Info 99.3. That's the official Nigeria Info Facebook page. You'd see their names, Kelechi and Daniel, just beneath the topic of the battle. And you could vote for either of these two individuals. Also, on Twitter, you'd see the poll. You can vote on the poll. Who impressed you more? Yes, who impressed you more? Equal pay for men and women in football, yes or no? Who impressed you more, Kelechi or Daniel? There's still 3 minutes left on Twitter, and you can go do your votes. But when we come back, we will be fighting for the final 40 points on the panel between Chuma and Alex. Who takes the night? Is it Kelechi? Is it Daniel? We'll find out right after this short timeout.
Is about to be extended in 2022 with the Super Falcons going for 10.
We're going for 10. We are going for 10. We're going for 10. We're going for 10. We're going for 10. So are Super Falcons.
Join us for the coverage of the African Women Cup of Nations from July 2nd to 23rd on 99.3 Nigeria Info. AFCON 2022 with Femi and the gang. It's live football just the way you like it.
Wake up at 4, on the road at 5, face the bus at 8, hustle up 8 to 5. And back on the road again. Then traffic. And even more traffic. Man's got to hustle. And he paid has got to keep ahead of. Bills must be paid. What's waiting? You know see wahala no dey finish. And that's why I ask, what's your whiskey brand? For me, it's Cubana whiskey. So while you follow your heart and bravely go for your dreams, take a break and pour yourself a glass of Cubana whiskey. Because you deserve the best. And
Mother's love is unconditional. Nothing serves this love better than a bowl of Indomie. So, show some love with Indomie.
Relax, recharge, and take a break this summer. Find the best summer holiday deals to Dubai, London, Cairo, Florida, and many other amazing cities on wakanow.com. We've got you covered. Book now on wakanow.com or visit any of our travel centers near you. Take a break. Pick a city. Wakanow. Let's go.
You could be 4 debates away from 1 million naira.
Good day, honorable judges, or ever attentive audience.
That's the majority of co-debater.
We've crowned 3 I Beg to Differ debate champions.
My name is Sanvita Kaushik.
I'm Ruth Okocha. My name is Bella Desa.
And if you want to be the 4th,
in fact, it even gives you a new global perspective.
The quest
Since 1998
begins
during the 2015 election.
now. The auditions for the next I Beg to Differ debate tournament are on. It's open to all secondary school students in Lagos, aged between 12 and 16. Just go to www.nigeriainfo.fm and click on I Beg to Differ and follow the instructions. Auditions close 3 p.m. July 12th, 2022.
Stay one step ahead with the latest news and trending conversations here on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Don't tell people you've added weight. Why are you losing weight?
Yeah.
Eating. No, it's not your business.
That money, the pass is good. That finally.
We should be patient and pray to God that God is going to answer our prayer.
Please, this is not all about prayer. It's not like everything is not prayer. That is Nigerian mentality. If you're not finding happiness in your home, you pray.
Your number one station for talk. Let's talk.
Hi, I'm Femi Daniels. For the last dozen years of my media career, I've dedicated myself to raising an army, a big sport broadcast army, made up of individuals who've gone from being just fans of the game to giants of the sport broadcast landscape. It's been my pride, privilege, and honor, but my job is not done. Time to raise a new army, the next generation. Join me and my team, Femi and the gang, from 7 to 9 p.m. Mondays to Friday on 99.3 Nigeria Info for the 3rd and biggest season of the Fan Battle. Starting Monday, June 13 to Friday, July 15. 1 million naira grand prize, a seat at the table, and you get to be part of it all. Catch the Fan Battle in football's hottest war zone live on radio, also on the Nigeria Info app and our Facebook and YouTube live streams. For sponsorship support and advertising, call 0808 50 20 280 or 0809 303 1103. The Fan Battle Season 3. Let the battle begin.
Hi guys, I'm John Fashanu. Keep listening to Femi and the Gang on 99.3 Nigeria Info. Don't miss it.
Hi my people, I'm Humble Smith, aka the Show Boy. You're listening to Femi and the Gang on 99.3 Nigerian Info. God bless you.
Welcome back. Before we went on a break, we were making a decision as to who of the two individuals, Kelechi and Daniel, had done enough to proceed to the quarterfinal for a place against Prosper as the match continues all the way to ₦1 million naira. And just before that, Daniel had picked all the votes, the 20 points available via phone lines, and he had also picked Tony's vote for a 40 percentage point lead, 60 more points to fight for, 20 of those with Chuma, 20 of those with Alex. But I'm going to call on Alex to do something else before voting. Alex, you got a message for me. Now might be a good time to share.
Yeah, this one is from Skirt Femi. Yeah, everyone deserves a good day, and every good day deserves a good drink. And that is why your Master's Choice drinks, Skirt Blended Brandy and Skirt Cafe Rum, are here for your enjoyment. Skirt Blended Brandy is for those who love it smooth and strong. And if you love it, uniquely blended coffee flavor and rich taste in alcohol, Skirt Cafe Rum, made from quality ingredients, is there for you too. Brandy lovers, choose Skirt Blended Brandy, and Cafe Rum lovers, go for Skirt Cafe Rum. The name is the taste and trusted. The taste is great and satisfying. So whatever the occasion or mood, we have got you covered at MP Masters Peace Ltd with Skirt Blended Brandy and Skirt Cafe Rum. And guess what? You can enjoy your Skirt Blended Brandy or Skirt Cafe Rum plain or mixed, alone or with friends, at home or in parties. The choice is all yours, but the satisfaction is the same. All Skirts brand are registered with NAFDAC and suitable for both men and women. For inquiries and updates, follow us on Instagram. Send a message to our handle at the Skirts Brand. I'll take that. The Skirts Brand. It's DTHESKIRTBRANDS. But listen, our skirt brands are not for pregnant women or persons under the age of 18. Do not drink and drive, and moreover, drink responsibly.
Thank you for that message. Now I'd like to hear you do a message of another kind, Alex. So, where do you take this battle between Kelechi and Daniel to?
Yeah, Femi, I'll just go straight to it. When these two guys came in, and the topic, like we said, very sensitive. You have to be careful, and you have to educate us and then the listener out there. I wanted to say something before they started. I wanted to say, educate me. Just tell me something I don't know. Tell me something different. You had the edge, and I'll be very honest with you. There are factors
Please,
that you did.
when you say you have to say
Okay,
it for your blind
Kelechi,
audience.
yeah, Kelechi, you have you had the edge in this battle, but you didn't. There are points. I mean, Tony said a lot, and I really appreciate the points that Tony brought to the table. But I'll tell you something. Tell me why women should be paid as much as men. You understand? You said something about equity, and it was fantastic, but you didn't stress the points. Now, this is some of the points that I think, if you had brought to the table, just maybe, you'd have convinced me and so many other people out there. Endorsement deal. I mean, companies believe that men are more marketable. Male footballers are more marketable. They believe that, and that's why when you have the World Cup, the male World Cup, the deals in that World Cup is, we don't want to go on and on. We know how massive it is, and the money made from that is also massive. You talk about economic returns. Look at the stadiums around Europe. It's week in, week out. Male football, they attract the fans. People pay to come watch these footballers. You can't say same for the female footballers. You can't say same for female football. They don't have as big as stadiums as the male football. He said something. Daniel said something, and it was key. Because if you look at the El Clasico, the female El Clasico game, Real Madrid and Barcelona, they had 91,000 fans in that stadium. That was huge. And you look at the Champions League game they played against Wolfsburg at the Nou Camp, they had 92,000 fans in that stadium. Fantastic. But you don't see that week in, week out with female football. You don't see that, but you see that with male football. You didn't talk about merchandising. That's another key point. You cannot compare. The money being spent on male footballers. They're more attractive. Football, they have more quality. There are many points that I expected. And again, biological advantage. Male footballers are more athletic. Even females enjoy male football than female football. A lot of this. I was disappointed. I'll be honest with you.
you started well. I like your opening. You opened your argument really well. You did well. The clash wasn't good enough for me. I think you guys were a bit too noisy, so I was trying to pick out things, but I didn't hear, a lot of things that you guys were saying. So on your part, Kelechi, I expected you to come with the fire because you had the advantage. Come with the fire. There are a lot. There are 100 reasons why people enjoy male football and female football, and 100 reasons why male footballers get paid more than female footballers. They're more marketable. People enjoy male football more. The Old Trafford is filled up every week. You can't say same for the the female Manchester United team. You can't say that. It's same goes for the Barca team. So it's a lot. I expected more. I expected better. On the night, you didn't just do it for me. And Daniel did a better job for me. He came with the points. I like the points that you gave, and with FIFA, talking about FIFA being, but like Tony said, FIFA is a non-profit organization. We get that, but then again, you cannot take profit away from football. There's no way you can take football. Is structured to make profits one way or another, because if you don't make profit, clubs will not run. You can't pay players. You can't have deals signed. You can't have sponsorship. You can't have all those things. Money make those things happen, and football brings the money in. But on the night, Femi, I don't want to go on and on and on and on and keep talking and stuff. They did well. Kelechi did well. I just expected better. You had points. There are points that you would have brought to the table, and I would just be so happy sitting down here, and I'll be giving you thumbs up and saying, yeah, you're the man for me. But tonight, I'll go with Daniel.
Daniel takes Alex's vote, pushing him over the threshold and ensuring he wins this battle. Chuma. Sorry.
Yeah, we're good. First of all, I wasn't impressed at all. Honestly, guys, if I had my way, Molat would have gone through ahead of both of you. With all the respect to you guys, honestly, I wasn't impressed at all with this battle.
They are lucky there is no saving of somebody.
Yeah, honestly, because this is the round of 16 stage. I have been impressed, for example, with Daniel in the previous round, and I have been today. I've been in the studio once, I think, with him around here, and I remember then I think I voted for him, if my memory serves me right. And the intro first off was uninspiring from both of you. What's up with the whole stuttering and struggle? As in, you guys have gone through this phase that you've had at least 2 battles before you got to this level. So if you are going to be showing trepidation and fear, it should have been in the first round of the competition, not now. You guys were behaving like the Super Eagles in the round of 16 stage of the AFCON. I made that example too often this evening, though. But again, it's about the Super Falcons. I just have to keep rubbing that on your faces, Femi and Anthony, who think that Super Falcons against South Africa. But yeah, honestly, the intro, I was trying to pick out points. At the point, I just left, my gadget and said, be like, these guys go just there. They argue. Nothing serious is coming out, bro. As in, no, seriously.
You left the points on the table.
There was no point.
There's no point at all.
The biggest point I could get from Daniel's intro was the FIFA reserves of 2.8 billion and the fact that FIFA is supposed to be non-profit. But even with that, the cohesion in the flow, it wasn't Daniel-esque. I've seen a better Daniel than what I saw tonight. And, from the perspective of Kelechi, his own intro too. But I think I'll even take Kelechi's intro ahead of Daniel, because Daniel was reading it, but even the reading was still not fluent enough. So if you were going to read it, at least flow with the reading. Felt like you were not too sure of what you were reading while you were reading it, Dan. When you guys went to the back and forth, at the point I was saying, you guys are lucky that you have a patient Mr. Femi, and I'm going to add Mr. now, on the whole scene. Now me alone, I was saying, guys, on that note, please can we go to the final 2 minutes? Because Femi kept telling them, guys, let's hear yourselves. Nobody allowed anybody land. Allowed, before you guys make me speak rubbish English here. Nobody allowed anybody land. You guys were crashing up and down, and I couldn't get anything from the back and forth. Instead of coming through with points, it was unnecessary arguments, and guy, you shouldn't say this, and I felt that. So my last bet was to be able to try and judge you guys based on your final 2 minutes. At the point, I just told myself, okay, I think I'll have to use that yardstick to judge you guys. I thought that across board, both parties could have had more points to bring into the argument, but they didn't. They spent their time saying maybe unnecessary things at times. Made sense when Daniel said something about Sam Kerr and the fact that 300,000 is what she earns per annum, comparing that to what's one footballer. We're hearing now the Salah is going to be earning as much as 350 at Liverpool every week. So he's like, what one lady takes in a year is what one guy takes in 1 week, and it doesn't make sense that way. But I thought there was an immediate response from Kelechi that made sense when Kelechi told him, but guy, look at this example. You said that Sam Kerr gets 300,000. Does every other female footballer in that team have 300,000? You know, so his point was Sam Kerr gets that amount of money because she's better than others. So the men get more money because their quality is better than what the women are offering, and I thought that made sense.
That was a good. That was a very strong point, which he didn't really drive home strongly enough. He needed to build on that.
Yes.
So if you say Sam Kerr earns 300,
does every other female in her Chelsea team
are there not her teammates who earn 30K?
Yeah.
Why does she earn 300K?
Yeah.
So you have to look at it.
Even among fellow women,
you know, she's more marketable. Exactly. She's a better player. And then you use that to understand, like, okay, do you understand? And he let that go.
Yeah. So
but at least you know you picked the point he was trying to make. But again, for the audience, somebody listening, if you're going to make a point, drive it home. He didn't quite, and I thought he should have used the closing argument to then drive it.
You know, had your 2 minutes by yourself. Exactly. And you know, I honestly had to pick somebody, and if I'd spoken before the guys, I would have gone genuinely for Kelechi, and that's not because he was outrageously outstanding. I know the guys have taken the time to say he had even more points. This topic favored you more than Daniel, because the men have stronger points to push for. But you should have also told Daniel something as I wrap up. When he said FIFA is non-profit, you should have reminded him that, yes, FIFA organizes the World Cup, but it's not FIFA that pays these players in their respective countries. It's a country thing. So that's why he said that USA have gone and started paying the same amount of money for male and female footballers. And you remind him that USA women have won the World Cup so many times. Other countries don't have the same quality as to their male and female national teams. So you should have reminded him that this talk of equality from FIFA's perspective is limited, because FIFA's powers as to equality only really is a solid thing in the FIFA Women's World Cup. But when it comes to paying these players, match bonuses is the NFF that pays the players, not FIFA. You know, same thing with England and USA and the like.
Same as the clubs.
Same as the club. It's not FIFA that comes to pay them. So FIFA wouldn't have that power to do equality from that point of view. So
and another thing to also consider in football or soccer, like they say in the US, is the men's game that played catch up with the women's game.
Yeah.
So until maybe the 90s, in school, the girls played soccer. The boys wanted to play, you know,
American football,
basketball,
you know,
those are the things the guys played. So it was, you know, I remember when we were when America came to Saudi '89, for instance, and Nigeria played America. In Saudi Arabia, I remember in the build-up to that tournament, the talk was the Americans were saying, "Football, what are you guys even talking? That's girls. That's the girls' game now. It's girls who play it." So
apparently, USA '94 opened their eyes.
Yeah, it was USA '94, and that conversation built in USA '94, where there were really some Americans who were saying, "Why do you want to disturb us? You're going to disturb us." Disturb our infrastructure for this game that is supposed to be women's game. Americans actually called it women's game. Because they think soccer is very lazy. It's not as physical as
American football
and all of that. And then
or even rugby.
Yeah, and then they eventually started to play catch up. More guys wanted to play soccer, which is also the reason why they don't seem to stand a chance. You know, at the world stage. But the women who have a bigger pedigree, they still rule the rest of the world because you know, football had been their thing and they were strong. Before we begin to dance around it and blaspheme.
Final vote for me for two reasons. He said something about the fact that the men play more games than the women across an entire season, and he spoke about the men's World Cup. Men's World Cup coming through with 6 billion in revenue compared to 131 million for the women's World Cup. That was another good point too. So he should have elucidated on his points more, but I thought that adding his points to his flow made him slightly better than Daniel for me on the evening. So I would have gone for Kelechi, and I still go for Kelechi even though it doesn't count for anything.
All right, so Kelechi takes Chuma's vote Thank you very much for that. At 60-20 as we go to social media.
Well, Femi, on Twitter.
Oh, this changed?
I did.
The last time I looked at it,
I was.
it just flipped.
I was flummoxed. Honestly,
the last time I saw it, one person was and now the person is back.
It was
Okay.
a real chase there, but Kelechi, just in the final few seconds, edged out Daniel on Twitter, 58.3% to Daniel's 41.7%.
Okay.
Right, and like we're seeing in many battles this season, social media always seem to go the same way. For this battle, well, it did go the same way because Kelechi also edged out Daniel, 51% to 49%.
Very close.
Very, very close on Facebook. So there you go.
So final result, Daniel wins this by 60 percentage points to Kelechi's 40. Well, I like score lines like this because it is close. It also shows that both contestants were equally matched. Again, I expected more. I just feel that on the strength of everything said, I think Daniel slightly put in more work than Kelechi. And this is not, this is just based on what the things they said, slightly more work. And Kelechi made those points. You are even fortunate that Chuma was close to you, because the other guys, both Alex and
Anthony,
didn't even catch that point. I caught it, and I felt nobody else caught it. I was impressed, and that was a powerful point. It's just that you didn't. Sometimes there's something called repetition for emphasis. When you've got a good point, you've got to pound it in, pound it down. You don't let what the opposition is doing is, whether knowingly or unknowingly, is to force you into a situation where you skim over your strongest points. My father used to tell me of the clever tortoise who was trapped in a hole by maybe I don't remember, a lion or something, and the tortoise was in a hole and the lion was using a stick to try and pin it down. And every time, and the lion couldn't see the tortoise, the hole was dark. So he would push the stick down. And the tortoise would shout, yeah, it's hurting me. Please, 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 please. And then the lion would press it and press it and press it. The only problem was when the guy was shouting, please, it's hurting, was when the thing did not touch him. When the thing would touch him, he would say, Obi, I dodged. Then the lion will remove the stick and go and stab it at an empty space. Then the turtle will say, yeah, please, please. And then the lion will
on the wrong spot.
On the wrong spot. So that is what your opponent does. You have your point. You have a hammer, and you want to drive it in, and then your opponent redirects you, and you run after him. And sometimes I also saw, and I've seen it, I saw it even in the first battle. You are trying to make a point in the head-to-head, and then you stop midpoint and then move on. And that point was supposed to land, because if it lands, your audience at home hear it, those watching you, they hear it, the judges hear it, and then you know it sinks even deeper. For the guy who gave us some of the biggest quotes of this, the Salon d'Or, your last battle was awesome. I just felt this was an anticlimax, a bit of an anticlimax, and I sense the nerves from the moment. Your opening comments, I thought Kelechi showed evidence of nerves in his opening comments, and then Daniel came on and he too was all over the place. And I'm like, okay,
the pressure of
this knockout thing is
and Femi, just a quick one. appeal to emotions is, I mean, a great tool.
Yeah.
That if, as a battler, if you can use it, and this is to so many others who would come, this situation for you, Kelechi, is clearly a case of taking from Peter to pay Paul. And if you had contextualized this to the average listener, would you love to work so hard and someone takes from you and gives the person who has not done equally as you have done? Because that is the clear situation we have. When you relate things to people that they can feel, you strike them in a place that they have no choice than to say yes, because it is relatable. So I thought that you could have come from the place of morals. You could have come from the place of, I mean,
is it the same way Daniel spoke about Nigerian politicians?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Example, yeah.
So congratulations to you, Daniel. You proceed to the quarterfinal. You go up against Prosper Ubani. That's your quarterfinal matchup. I wish you all the best in that quest.
Think about it.
I wish you all the best.
I wish you all the best. Yeah, I wish you all the best. Yeah.
You know.
You guys be surprised. He's wondering why they're laughing. But again,
I'm giving you expo because you got to think
football
about
is
it.
about form on the day.
It's about that. But then,
but some would say Prosper's form has been very.
That's it.
Has been very stable,
consistent and stable. I get your point. Form on the day matters, just like tennis. A big ward number 1 can be beaten by ward number 37. It happens. But Femi, we have big dogs in football, and then we have underdogs.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying anybody's an underdog here.
It's just like what Real Madrid and Barcelona does.
Femi,
to everybody.
Femi, don't.
It's what we do to you guys in Champions League final.
No. What Femi is doing right now, I'm gonna say it's disrespectful. It's disrespectful. It's disrespectful.
But that was deliberate.
There's an emotional edge for Dan. You go into battles like that being on a safer side because you feel like, hey, I mean, what's the worst that can happen here? He, Prosper, will be under a lot of pressure.
Yeah, most certainly.
On that day.
Most certainly. I mean, we're just talking. We would have a big battle on our hands. So congratulations. You know the day of your next battle. It's already in the schedule, and I could easily tell you now. Yes, it will be Prosper versus Daniel. You don't let me weigh myself down with that information. It's already in your schedule. You have the schedule. So so what do you have to say?
Okay. Like I said, and I always say, I don't feel over my head whether in defeat or in victory. I just take it as it is. I want to say thank you to Kelechi for making me feel uncomfortable. First off, the question at hand wasn't. When I saw it, truth be told, I told someone dear to me that because we just spoke about it that evening before I got the question, and I was on his side. So immediately the question,
a human being,
yes, I've never in any time. So I tried to fight it in my mind. So it was a big deal till I got here this evening. It was still not breaking in my mind. Yes. So that's
the first time you have to defend that.
That is not your.
It took me a lot. That's why I had to write because I don't think I've written whenever
I haven't seen you write.
So
I've seen you twice in 2 battles.
I had to write. It's compulsory.
I was just thinking. I was thinking that when again, because I've been away, I've been I've spent the last several days in the hospital, and I have not even followed the contests. It's been that bad. So coming in here today was a decision. My family didn't even want me to come today. I just said, you know what, the second round, let me just go, and let's just go do this. So coming in here, up until I introduced you guys, I did not even know what the topic was, and I looked at the topic and I was like, okay, this should have been Molat's topic. Big Molat, Daniel's position. She will go to war and tear you to shreds. Yeah, and again, the other person I thought of again was my wife. I was just hoping that, you know, and I know she's listening. I was just hoping that she'll be distracted and she will listen, because we have this fight every time. Yeah, we have this fight, and I'm almost always on Kelechi's side. She's always on Daniel's side, and we don't seem to agree. And I marshal like 1,000,000 points, which again, I'm just like. Because you be babe, you know, and she will her own 3 or 4 points. She will marshal, and then she will go into the history in 1980, and then she would blame. Daniel, if you had spent some time with my wife, you will be so full of points that, you know, I would probably still not agree with you, but for points of it's from. You know, things that us as sports journalists, you know, she's a sports journalist too, but how she will go into how the women's game was suppressed in England, was deliberately,
50 years.
It was deliberately suppressed, that if it had been allowed to flow at the same rate, it would be on the same level. I was like, well, that's a whole lot of presuppositions now. All the games, every single game, when it comes to the thing is, sports, athleticism is physical. Is physical, very physical.
Very physical, yeah.
Men don't have much advantage mentally in every activity that is mental, but physical activities, there is a physical advantage that the guy just has. That's why the guys run faster, they hit the ball faster and longer, they throw longer. In fact, even in some of these sports, the height, in some of these sports, even the height of, until recently, in fact, up until not so long ago, women weren't even allowed to play 45 minutes. The game was 40 minutes for women. Do you understand?
It's like women's tennis. That's still 3 sets compared to men's Grand Slam.
Yes, because of the exertion. Now, does it make men necessarily better than women? Maybe not necessarily. It's just that there are some things. Let's see who can dig a pit faster. Call 6 men and call 6 women. You can almost, unless something catastrophic happens, you can almost expect the 6 men to get there faster.
Even if 2 men die.
You know,
physical strength.
I'm not going to argue. So if you now come and say, the 6 women and the 6 men, I mean, equal pay, I mean, it's debatable, but let's not play with it, because again, in reality, the disparity right now is not fair, and that was what I expected him to do. I'm talking about Kelechi. You can't really make a reasonable argument to say the status quo should continue, that there should be such a massive gulf between men and women.
Men's AFCON 4.5 million, women's AFCON 500,000.
Do you understand? So the disparity, you cannot reasonably make a case that this disparity should continue. But at the same time, it's also unreasonable to say men and the women should be paid exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
It still will not work. You are going from one extreme of stupid to another extreme of stupid. In between those two lines lies common sense.
Which is the line of equity.
Which is equity.
The line of equity.
It was in his premise. I mean,
he didn't drive it. He didn't drill it. He just didn't drill it. I mean, I'll be happier if the men's game were 5 million,
for example,
and the women's game were 3.5.
Yeah.
Do you understand? And women won't even be complaining. Do you understand? But if it's 3.5 billion to 500,000, come on, that's disparity is too much. And again, the other part of it, which you guys have already mentioned, most of these monies, you can't force FIFA to give you money. okay, how about the monies that are outside of FIFA's control? Now, there has been if you notice, there's been a very deliberate attempt to push women's game, even in football. These days, when they promote the male teams, they promote the female teams, and which is essential on the long run. We can do this. We can come and compare notes again 20 years from now, and we'll still probably be saying the same thing. Women's football is nice. Oh, it's improved, but the men's game is at a different level, and
it keeps pulling away.
Yeah, it's gonna pull away because let me go into that. But
it's a very, very sensitive topic.
Yeah, it's a very sensitive. And you might even offend people's sensibilities if you go too much into it.
True.
But I am for a closing of the gap. I don't think the status quo should hold. I really don't see it. I don't. For instance, look at Nigeria. Look at what we pay our girls, who have been more successful in the last 20 years.
The most successful team in Africa.
The Super Falcons have been more successful than the Super Eagles.
3 men's AFCON for the Super Eagles. 9 women's AFCON for Super Falcons.
Yes.
So they're like the USA of. If you were to look at it from that perspective.
Yes. But then you could argue. Somebody could now make an argument and say, you see that Nations Cup, that the Super Eagles wins once. And you take that Nations Cup and you take all the Alcon, the 9 Alcons.
Perspective.
Okay, onto impacts to the Nigerian society.
Do you understand? The impact
winning the men's AFCON
is out of the ordinary. When Nigeria first went to the World Cup, remember that. There has been nothing like that. Nigeria went to the World Cup and Nigeria had to play. Who did we play in our first game?
We had Bulgaria. Was it? We had Bulgaria.
Bulgaria. That was a very
Argentina.
That was a.
And then Greece, right?
Yes. I've said it on air before because I was in a cell. I was actually in a cell the night.
Are you serious?
Yes, I was in a cell.
I've never heard it before.
Yeah, I was locked up that night, and I was waiting for the Nigeria game when they came to arrest me. I was in a cell, and I literally.
You shouldn't be laughing, but it's very funny. I've never heard this before.
It's memorable. I think I remember it was June 24 or something like that. June 24 when Nigeria played and Yekini scored that first goal and shook that net like that. Yeah. And I was in my cell that night. And I was at home watching Argentina and Greece, just waiting for Nigeria to start when they came and arrested me for losing my temper and beating somebody up.
Wow. You're more gentleman now.
Yeah. So I was very gentlemanly. No, but this man attacked my father in my presence.
Okay.
And my father is the most gentlemanly human being on the planet, and you don't do that in his son's presence, and I couldn't take it. So it was the first time I was in a cell in my whole life, and
it was an
iconic day for Nigeria. But look at those scenes, and then how we had struggled against a Maradona-inspired Argentina, and those 2 goals against Greece, Amokachi, and the dog. The Finidi George thing, and then how we went in against Italy and how close we came to beating Italy and going to how we could have just that day gone into the quarterfinal. Even when Nigeria are not playing, we switch the kind of attention with which we switch to our African brothers and follow. When Suarez stopped Ghana, the way we were following, I don't think anybody in the studio remembers following any of Nigeria's female World Cup matches.
Be fair with ourselves,
like that. And this was Ghana. This was us following Ghana. You don't remember following Falcons like that. So much still needs to be done, and I think it's going to get better. The women's game is going to get better, but I still think this equal pay is a long stretch. Is there equal pay in Formula One or in tennis? No, there's no equal pay in tennis.
The Grand Slams do, but
the Grand Slams, the Grand Slams, and that's because of more recent. Do you understand? More recent, and that was helped by the
Yeah,
Williams sisters.
yeah.
Serena, especially Serena Williams.
Female tennis is followed, I would think, better than
Yeah.
female football across board.
Yeah, I think
would
so.
think so.
Because
That's my thought.
again, it's going to. I hope.
I mean, is a tough comparison.
Yes, it's a tough comparison.
It's a single
true.
sport and team
yes.
sport.
And I hope, my fear is that beyond the Serena Williams era, women's tennis may roll back a bit.
It will regress.
It will. I think it will roll back.
It will.
If we cannot.
It is.
Unless one of these newcomers is able to dominate
and hold on to
again, because that's the way. Look at boxing. Look at what happened to the heavyweights. Heavyweights suffered for years.
When it was the Klitschko brothers.
When it was the Klitschko brothers,
anymore,
the heavyweight division was dead. Nobody cared what was going on there, and that's why we're busy here hailing Samuel Peters, and we were watching the guy get hammered.
Maybe we continue with this excitement. These guys will not go home.
It was
sure that he got to run.
It was pummeled.
And all that time, Floyd Mayweather, the clever crook, was cleaning out.
Yeah, the lower.
Do you understand? Exactly. That's just the thing. I mean, at that point, the Klitschko brothers were earning they are the heavyweight champions. An insignificant fraction of what Floyd Mayweather was earning in a much lower division.
Yeah.
That's just the nature of sports. It is.
Quality is what people want, and they'll pay for it. That's why Tyson Fury can say, if you want me to come back, somebody should bring 500 million and I'll come back. Because he knows the quality he has.
So, Kelvin, Kelechi.
Sir.
Tell me how you're feeling.
Disappointed. Okay, because I always have high expectations for myself, and this is a stepping stone.
Yeah.
Above all, I'm excited. Victory is relative.
Yeah.
And just being in this competition, I didn't go through the qualifiers. The day I did my video ring fell, it wasn't that quality. I got there, and I can't go through the whole series, but there's a revelation I need to tell Mr. Femi. I never knew of Nigerian Info. I used to be a lover of radio stations, I listened to one of the live matches, commentary. I heard Mr. Chuma. That was creativity beyond the normal. And since I started listening to your station, when I hear you all speak, I can relate, but the standard is high, and that's the kind of mantra I want for myself. And I'm happy for Mr. I'm happy for him, and
it's like they're friends.
Yeah,
it's nice.
You
guys met here?
We should exchange numbers. So, this is not the end.
No, certainly not.
Yeah, so I'll be back.
I'm sure. I have no doubt. With qualities such as yours, there is no way I wouldn't expect to see more of you. Okay? The beautiful thing about the fan battle is that even for us who sit here, it gives us an idea of the quality that there is out there. For us, the way we look at it, this is our feeder team. This is our talent bank. Do you understand? And not just for us, but also we're also spotlighting you to even other radio brands. So even if we don't get during the fan battles, a couple of other individuals were picked up by other radio stations and all of that. That's the whole idea. But I expect you guys to continue to work at these. Okay? You work at it. There will be opportunities in the build-up. And then the next fan battle, would like to see you take all these lessons and push. And who knows? You may, by the next fan battle, you may probably already be a big sporting brand. And, you never know with these things. Okay? So it's a great pleasure. Chop Noko, my guy. Nice one. So congratulations, Daniel. To you, Kelechi. It's a pleasure knowing you. Chuma, Alex, Tony, we've got to go. Any last words?
Yeah, I just want to see more quality. I think I would love to see what happened in the first battle replicated by the remainder of the contestants from now to the end.
Yeah.
give us the A game, man,
Yeah,
and put us in a dilemma. Dribble us like Ronaldo Delima before we decide who we want to vote for. Courtesy of the quality. That's what I want.
Yeah, excellent. I think these two gentlemen choked a little bit tonight.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, there is little room for us to see Kelvin again. You never know. Okay. So Kelvin, as I leave, I would do the ritual, which is essentially, our signature bye-bye tune to say, brother, your battle ends here. But I think your career is just starting. It's just opening up.
Very awesome.
You can add this to the other things.
Very awesome.
Plus the fact that you're a handsome young man and you're a model. All right.
Thank you, sir.
To everyone else, good night, everybody. See you tomorrow.
Quite the best